What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for MLB Saturday, April 10th.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon.
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to go over my top DFS picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have a 6-game slate, so let's take a look at the pitcher position. I like Ian Anderson. He's pitching against the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, Ian Anderson throws his best ball versus lefty batters, only giving up a .418 OPS versus lefties. He's facing 3 lefties here tonight, and he gives up a .601 OPS versus righties, and he's facing 6 righties here tonight. So the splits are decent. Pitching to righties is his worst pitch, but he still pitches pretty well versus all hands. And on top of that, the Phillies have only hit 3 of his last 15 pitches. Not a huge sample size, but not super small. So that's only a 200 batting average. So pretty good player versus team history so far. And Ian Anderson is $8,600 FanDuel salary and $300 more on DraftKings. He had an ERA of 1.95 last year, and his record was 3-2 on the season, and he pitching an average of 95 pitches per game. He was averaging 38 fantasy points per game, and he scored 33, 5, and 9 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So the Philadelphia Phillies, they're a pretty good batting team, but 95 pitches per game with an ERA of 1.95. He's not overly expensive, so you can save some salary for your batters here and get an elite pitcher that can put up 30 to 40 fantasy points. So I like Ian Anderson here versus the Philadelphia Phillies. Okay, let's take a look at the first base position. I like Eric Hosmer with a 28% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Jordan Lyles. Eric Hosmer, he's batting 37% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .975 OPS versus righties. And Jordan Lyles, he's giving up a .805 OPS versus lefties. Eric Hosmer is 4 for 11 with a .364 batting average and a 1.098 OPS versus Lyles. One of those 4 hits is for a home run. And Hosmer is $3,700 FanDuel salary. He's $1,500 more on DraftKings, projected at 10.1 fantasy points here tonight. He scored 12 fantasy points per game on the season last year, and he scored 6, 3, and 7 fantasy points in the last 3 games. This is a great matchup, so I like Eric Hosmer here versus Jordan Lyles. Okay guys, it's time to announce the winner of our $100 weekly PayPal giveaway. And the winner is Terry Evans. Terry Evans, congratulations. You are the winner of our $100 weekly PayPal giveaway. Please reply to our comment to collect your prize.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $100 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won, and then we'll send you $100 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. I like David Fletcher with a 32% batting advantage over Steven Matz. David Fletcher is batting 18% better versus lefty pitchers. He's batting a .909 OPS versus lefties. And Steven Matz, he doesn't pitch that well versus righties. 14% worse than his pitch to lefties, giving up a 1.099 OPS versus righties. So there's no at-bats versus Matz yet, but David Fletcher, he's only $2,600 FanDuel salary, and he's $1,900 more on DraftKings. So I love that FanDuel price. He's projected at 10.3 fantasy points here tonight. He averaged 10 fantasy points per game on the season last year, and he scored 3 and 20 fantasy points in his last 2 games. And Vegas thinks there's going to be 11 runs scored in this game. That's the over-under, so a high-scoring game. So I like David Fletcher here versus Steven Matz. Okay, let's take a look at the third base position. I like Manny Machado with a 10% batting advantage over Jordan Lyles. Manny Machado, he bats exactly the same versus lefty and righties, batting a .942 OPS versus righties. And Jordan Lyles, he pitches his worst ball versus righty batters, 10% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .891 OPS versus righties. Manny Machado is 3 for 9 with a .333 batting average and a .666 OPS versus Lyles. Machado is $3,400 FanDuel salary and $2,100 more on DraftKings. Projected at 11.6 fantasy points here tonight. He was averaging 13 fantasy points per game on the season last year. He scored 10 fantasy points in his last game. I like this matchup. I think the price is right, especially on FanDuel. So I like Manny Machado here versus Jordan Lyles. Okay, let's take a look at the shortstop position. I like Xander Bogaerts with a 42% batting advantage over Bruce Zimmerman. Xander Bogaerts bats 22% better versus lefty batters. He's batting a 1.014 OPS versus lefties. And Bruce Zimmerman pitches his worst ball versus righty batters, 20% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .812 OPS versus righties. Bogaerts is 1 for 5, batting 200 with a .4 OPS versus Zimmerman. So only 5 at-bats, not a fantastic start. Has only hit 1 single so far, but he's only $3,100 FanDuel salary, and he is $2,400 more on DraftKings. So again, I love that FanDuel price. And he's projected at 11.2 fantasy points here tonight. Averaged 11 fantasy points per game on the season last year, and he scored 19, 15, and 22 fantasy points in his last 3 games. Vegas thinks there's going to be 9.5 runs in this game. The over-under is 9.5, so 9 or 10 runs scored in this game. So I like Xander Bogaerts here versus Bruce Zimmerman.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, moving on to the outfield position. I like Ronald Acuna Jr. batting against Zach Eflin. Ronald Acuna Jr. bats 19% better versus righty pitchers. He's batting a 1.020 OPS versus righties. Now, Zach Eflin does throw his best ball versus righties, giving up a .634 OPS versus righties. But Ronald Acuna Jr. is 5 for 17 with a .294 batting average and a 1.015 OPS versus Eflin. And 2 of those 5 hits were for home runs. So I like Ronald Acuna Jr. as a home run hitter pick here tonight. And he's $4,100 FanDuel salary and $1,700 more on DraftKings. He averaged 15 fantasy points per game on the season last year, and he scored 37, 28, and 41 fantasy points in his last 3 games, projected at 13.7 fantasy points here tonight. So I like Ronald Acuna Jr. here versus Zach Eflin.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again and good luck.